Hi, welcome to the Movie Madhouse. I'm Jason.
I'm James.
We are Robless. Apparently, he picked up the plague while on their first couple days of shooting a long ride home. So, yes, we're here. We are Robless, and we are going to be talking Samuel motherfucking L. Jackson movie. Come on, play the thing. There, do that. Yeah, there we go. Top 5 Samuel L. Jackson flicks.
It always reminds me of the Chappelle Show skit.
I didn't watch much Chappelle, so.
It was a pretty famous one. They had the beer Samuel L. Jackson instead of Samuel Adams. And...
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm not familiar, but I've seen a bunch of clips, but I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
but I could see how they would definitely be able to riff on something like that. Not to mention, just look at how much stuff the guy has done. There's pretty much nothing he hasn't stepped into. So, the list is long. Getting to 5 was hard enough. Ranking a 5 was harder yet.
I mean, my top 2 or 3 stayed the same. It was the 4 and 5 that kept shifting.
My top 3 shifted up until about 2 hours ago.
Oh, nice.
About 2.5 hours ago. I did revisit one flick today, just to see if I could put it in the 5 because I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
So I will say it did not make my top 5, but it's definitely an honorable mention. And if we would have went to 10, it'd be in the top 10 for sure. So,
of course.
Well, I'll mention that later in case it comes up on your list.
Yeah.
But let's just get right into it then. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is from 1998. It is a Canadian film called The Red Violin.
The Red Violin.
Yeah, and it's a movie. It's a movie based on an actual Stradivarius violin, I believe. And it tells through a fortune teller, a woman who's pregnant. She's the wife of a famous violin maker, and she goes to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller tells her fortune across the movie through these tarot cards, and through turning over, I think, like 4 tarot cards, she goes across, like, sort of, she's almost telling the history or telling the fortune of this violin, because how it passes from this person in this century to this person to this person to this person, and it's sort of interspersed. It jumps back and forth between all these time periods and the present day, where you have Samuel L. Jackson, who plays an appraiser who's traveled to Montreal to try and verify that this is the red violin. And
so, in what year is he in then?
1997. The movie came out in 1998, and
but it's where he is. He's in a modern day setting.
Yeah, he's in modern day Montreal. He's there to certify that it's the infamous red violin, and then it just keeps telling the violin's journey throughout it. And it was one of the more I don't want to say intellectual, but like it was one of the more intellectual roles of his, where he's playing like what is it? He's playing an intellectual. He's like a violent appraiser. So he's a very smart guy, very well dressed, very well mannered, and
see, when he does that, it always stands out because everybody knows him as the badass motherfucker, right?
Exactly.
That's what he's most known for. But people forget that no, he can pull it back. He can tone it down. He can cut it back. My number 1 is one of those types of roles.
So, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the Red Violin.
The Red Violin.
And that was in 98, you said?
Yeah. 1998.
So was he wasn't really super well known at that point then, right?
Well, that was after Pulp Fiction. So
Okay. Oh yeah, right. Pulp Fiction was
after Pulp Fiction, before Star Wars.
Oh.
I
Hello,
believe.
James.
Hey.
Talking Samuel Jackson.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
What's that one from?
That's from Chappelle. Well, the movie is A Time to Kill, but he does that in the Chappelle show bit. He's like, "Do you have to yell?" He's like, "Yes, this is how I talk."
That's one I don't think I've ever watched either. So,
A Time to Kill is great, but mostly for Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that was a Grisham novel. That's one of the Grisham novels that was adapted.
One of the many Joel Schumacher Grisham collaborations.
I did not realize that was Schumacher. Did he do The Firm as well?
Yes.
Okay, because I liked The Firm.
I didn't really care for The Firm, but I liked A Time to Kill.
I liked The Firm, and I enjoyed the movie, and I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I still liked it. But I did read the book and I like the ending of the book better than the movie.
Nice.
The movie goes for that bit of a Hollywood ending.
Yeah.
The book does not. So, okay, my number 5 from 2001, and it's known by two different titles: Formula 51 or The 51st State.
That was on my initial several attempts when I was whittling it down. I love that movie.
I basically, my top 5 are movies that except for one that I don't revisit super often. I rewatch these movies at least once a year. At least
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that one in the theater with my buddy Bevan. I remember because that movie was also known as the 51st State. Yeah. which is funny.
We know it as Formula 51 here, but it's called the 51st State pretty much everywhere else. It's weird.
Yeah, and Meatloaf in the movie actually, he says he calls Britain the 51st State.
Yeah, during that climax scene, he says England ain't nothing but the 51st State.
Yeah.
Yep, I just rewatched it like a month ago, so it's nice and fresh. But I adore that movie from beginning to end. I love the opening scene where when he gets busted, and it just shows like his diploma going up in flames, and just the whole thing, and then the twist reveal at the end.
Yeah,
I don't want to put the spoiler out there, but POS 51, what POS stands for, it's fucking brilliant.
It is.
But it's got a great cast with
Robert Carlyle
and Emily Mortimer.
Right, Reese Ifans.
Right. I don't know if I saw him in that or The Replacements first. But I've enjoyed him in both, and I don't know which one I saw him in first.
I definitely saw. Oh shit!
And then Little Nicky came along. But I would be hard pressed to choose which movie do I like Reese Ifans better in, because I love him in both The Replacements and in this movie. Like, he's so crazy in Formula 51, but he's just that Welsh prick in The Replacements,
Oh yeah.
But yes, Formula 51. It's in that wheelhouse. Some of my favorite flicks to watch are heist movies, in particular, like the British crime ones and whatnot. So like your Guy Ritchie movies, particularly. And this is in that vein, right? As soon as you get over to the UK and you start getting the UK slang and how, their gang terminology and whatnot, it's in that same vibe,
Yeah, and I love
why was he wearing a kilt through the whole movie?
I love the movie mostly for Robert Carlyle because they go to pick up he's like the scientist or whatever. He's like, "Where's Lawrence?"
Yes.
He's like, I told you to take care of him, not take care of him.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And there's a line that Robert Carlyle's mother says when Emily Mortimer, her Dakota character Dakota, first shows up at her house, the mom's like cleaning the windows or whatever, and she sees her through the window and goes, "Well, shit in a bag and punch it." I love that line. I don't know what it's supposed to mean exactly, but I really like that line. It makes me chuckle every time.
Yeah, mine is. So you can still go to France, mate. It's not too far. It's full of pricks, and they hate fucking Yanks as well.
And him teaching them the different bullocks.
Yeah.
So bullocks is good, but dog bullocks is bad. And then when they're playing chicken in the alleyway, and he looks over and chicken bullocks. Yeah, God, I love that movie so much. That's why it's my number 5. We got James here. He said one movie he liked him in was Deep Blue Sea. Oh yeah, he got eaten.
Oh yeah, that's the infamous scene where he's telling the story and then chomp.
Yep. How he was a survivor. He survived that whatever experience before, and he'll do it again. And then,
yeah,
I briefly had it in consideration, but then as I'm going through the list, I'm like, I gotta move it down because I haven't gone back to Deep Blue Sea in a while.
No, neither have I.
And do not. I've only watched the first sequel, the Deep Blue Sea 2, which is actually a prequel. Technically, I guess I don't know. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage, and I refuse to even consider looking at number 3 unless my one buddy who made me watch number 2 said, "Let's watch number 3." I will go through that pain with him for the shared experience, but I will not actively do it on my own. That's just how I operate. All right. So, what is your number 4?
My number 4 from 2012 is Django Unchained.
Yeah, it's an honorable mention for me. Again, because I haven't gone back to it for a while, but yes, phenomenal.
Neither have I, but I just kept thinking back. Like I loved his evil performance in that one, especially in the, I guess it's the study scene where he tells like Calvin Candy, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, they just like, these guys are fucking with you. They're pulling the wool over your eyes, but they're having a conversation as equals in the movie, as opposed to like the servant master relationship. He's just like, he's a good friend of his. And he's just like, oh, especially when he knows the one girl is lying to him, and pulls her into the kitchen. No, it's such a great performance.
Arguably, and because I have to for later in the list, arguably his best villain role.
Quite possibly, yes.
It would definitely be in consideration for his top villain role.
Because he doesn't do that a whole lot.
No, he does not. But yeah, he was such just an evil bastard. And for that era, his position as the houseboy, I don't want to use the actual word that he used, but
right,
the houseboy, and how he was, he fully embraced into that. He's just so damn good.
Yeah.
And when he finally gets his comeuppance, yeah, yeah, that whole shootout at the end, and he blows up the house, like fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that, and I love the scene where he's telling Jamie Foxx's character what's going to happen to him. Just like, well, shit, we do the McGinty Mining Company does worse than that, and
yeah, it gets dark. He gets dark.
It does, yeah.
Okay, my number 4, and since because of I can never just keep just one flick, I gotta do multiple. I'm going with his Shaft, 2000 and 2019.
I almost had the 2019 one on my list because I didn't really care for the 2000 one, but I had a lot of fun with the 2019 version.
I watched the hell out of the 2000 one back in the day. I haven't gone to it for a while. And then I didn't watch it right away, but when I did take a chance on the 2019, I was like, "Oh my God, why did I wait so long?" Because
right?
It's a perfect sequel to the 2001.
It's so funny.
But so with the 2001, when they incorporated Richard Roundtree into it as the original, they said it was his uncle. Well, then they totally retcon that with one line of dialogue in the 2019 version. Yeah. You were a great father, except for the first 30 years when you said you were my uncle. One line of dialogue rewrites that and fixes it.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. But
Such a
yeah,
fun movie.
he's, if you want the quintessential badass motherfucker Samuel L. Jackson, you can't go wrong with his Shaft. He embodied everything that is that character. So between that and Jules and Pulp Fiction, that is your quintessential badass motherfucker Samuel L. Jackson right there.
Yeah.
And he's not only is he a badass, but he's so smooth with the ladies and shit. And the 2019 one with bringing in his son that he doesn't really know, and I guess you do have a little bit of Shaft in you when he at one point, and it's so good, so good.
So
And
well done. Yeah.
reconnecting with his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And he keeps like he's talking to her in the hotel room, and she won't let him in. He goes, "So you're gonna break off a piece or what?" Like keeps he doesn't stop. He just keeps going.
Yeah. I like when he shows up, opens the door, he's got the glitter all over his face.
Yeah, when the son first finds him, yes. Yeah, he's like, "Are you covered in glitter?" Yeah. So I revisit the 2019 one more. I think I'm gonna rewatch the 2000 one again sometime soon though, because it has been a while.
I'm gonna revisit the 2019 one for sure.
And I think the 2000 Shaft is, I think, my first introduction to Christian Bale, because I'm pretty sure I saw that before I ever watched American Psycho.
I watched it after American Psycho, I believe. And I thought it was just like a poor imitation, but he wasn't exactly playing the same character.
Oh no, not the same character at all. But I just think that might have been my first introduction to Christian Bale.
Right.
A lot of people, it is American Psycho, but I think
Yeah.
that one is mine. So it
Cool.
was definitely before Batman. So
way before, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number 3?
Number 3, which was just referenced, it is 1994's Pulp Fiction.
Aha, that's my number 2. It was going to be my number 1. It was in that running. So
yeah, it was. Let me see. I think it was always going to be my number 3.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because it's not my favorite. It's my third favorite of his roles, and I almost, while we were talking, switched it up with Django a bit. Although I was listening to a bit of Pulp Fiction today, just because
to a bit of Pulp Fiction.
We were doing yard work today, so I had it going. I had it playing while I was buzzing, trimming branches.
I was listening to Queen and Electric Callboy while I was mowing the lawn today. So,
oh, nice.
That's my go-tos. But Pulp Fiction is Pulp Fiction. It is an iconic film. His role in particular, it was his career-breaking role.
Yeah, Oscar nominated. But he did a really, really good job. But it's him and Travolta together. That was the key in that one.
It was the big break comeback for Travolta too.
It was both. I wouldn't say Sam Jackson a comeback role, because he was never really.
No, it was a breakout role for Samuel Jackson.
Breakout role, yeah.
Role for Travolta.
Yeah.
And it's got like so many quotable and memorable bits to that whole movie.
Oh yeah, well, Sam Jackson has like probably one of the most famous quotes in movie history, which he like hinted at in Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, I might not have caught that.
It's right at the very end when they're meeting in the cemetery, and he goes, "If anyone's looking for me, they can find me right there." And you look down at his headstone for Nicholas J. Fury, and it has the path of the righteous man, Ezekiel 25.
Oh, I see. I don't think I caught that back when I watched it last.
Oh yeah,
it's been a while since I watched that one. So, but but you got the heart stabbing scene.
Oh yeah,
everybody knows that. The getting medieval on his ass. That's like one of the bigger quotes from it.
Yeah, I always love the Marvin when he's in the apartment with the guys that ripped them off, and you don't know that Marvin's their informant just yet. He's just like Marvin chimes in, he's like, "I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing."
Yep. Yeah, that whole scene is intense.
Oh yeah, especially when Frank Whaley's trying to talk and he just pulls out the gun, casually shoots the guy on the couch.
Yep. Oh,
Oh,
did
I'm
I
sorry. Did I break your concentration?
just say what again? Yeah, it has been a while since I watched Pulp Fiction, actually, because it's
Yeah.
not my number one Tarantino flick. So,
Well, mine either, but three-quarters of the movie I can watch a lot. The
what's
Bruce
the core you
Willis, the whole Bruce Willis segment, I think brings the movie kind of to a screeching halt a bit.
know?
It's just not. It doesn't have the same dialogue, and uh, it doesn't have the John Travolta, Sam Jackson scenes. That's the problem. They're hardly in it.
Yeah, okay. You just want all Sam Jackson and Travolta
I
in this
did.
movie.
I did because then when that one ends and it picks back up with them shooting Marvin and having to call Winston Wolfe and stuff, it just the movie ends really strong, but it slows down during that segment, if you ask me.
I kind of see where you're coming from. Sure. Well, my number 3 is from 2017, The Hitman's Bodyguard.
That was on my list for a while. Not the sequel, but that one.
You know, it, Reynolds can work with just about anybody, but him working alongside Samuel Jackson, it was perfect. And Reynolds is essentially the straight man through most of the flick, right? He's
Especially
the straight man to Jackson.
like in the cafe where he's talking to someone, you see the action going on behind him. I hope he dies. I really do.
That's when you get more of the Reynolds itness, where the silly Reynolds comes out, and that bit right there, he has probably one of my favorite lines in movies. It's this man single-handedly ruined the word motherfucker. Do you know how hard that is?
Yeah.
And you can almost wonder, is Reynolds actually being serious when he says that? Like, because the word motherfucker is synonymous with Samuel L. Jackson at this point.
Yeah.
So was Reynolds kind of speaking truth with that line?
I haven't actually watched that movie in quite a while, so I need to do that.
I like the sequel is also really, really good. You get a lot more Salma Hayek, and that is not a bad thing.
That's true.
The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, and there's a couple scenes with her that, like, it's badass Salma Hayek, which you don't get enough of. Do you ever see the one with her? I can't think of the name now.
Everly?
It's her stuck in an apartment.
Yeah, Everly.
Everly, yes.
Yeah, that is a good movie. What's that?
It's fun. It's intense.
It is, yeah.
A good high adrenaline action flick.
Yeah, because it's always going through my head that voice, Everly, and it's the evil yakuza crime boss or whatever that's gonna take her out, and it's like all these killers come into the apartment and she just keeps fighting them off. Yeah, it's really good.
I got to revisit that one soon. Now it's been a little while, and yeah, it's such a badass flick.
Yeah,
I got to go back to that one. But the Hitman's Bodyguard, they work so well together. Jackson with Reynolds, they work so well together. Yeah, you do get a little bit of Salma Hayek in this movie as well, but for the most movies she's in jail, so she's not key to the story really. But they do work so well together. How Jackson just gets under Reynolds' skin through the whole movie, especially when he reveals to him that he's the one who screwed his career over.
Yeah,
because Reynolds didn't know that until he reveals it 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah,
Reynolds did not know that it was Jackson's character that killed his target at the time.
Yeah, The one I think you see it at the beginning of the movie as a flashback.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know if it was a flashback or it was just they were setting it up. He was the top guy, and then he gets this guy into the plane, and then boom, a bullet goes through the window of the plane.
Yeah,
Like they didn't see it coming. And then when Jackson reveals it that wasn't even his target, he just happened to see him, and it was a shot of opportunity.
yeah.
It's like, you son of a bitch. Yeah, great flick. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is from 2001. It is The Caveman's Valentine.
Another one I've not heard of.
I saw this one way back in. I think it was another one I had been I knew about, but I watched it when I was working at Rogers. And he plays a character named Romulus, who's a former like famous professional concert pianist who had schizophrenia and it is like basically a crazy homeless guy. And the movie starts off with them finding a dead homeless guy up in a tree, and it turns out he was like the boy toy of this famous artist or whatever. And Samuel L. Jackson, he's living as a homeless guy. He's a homeless guy, and his daughter's a police officer, and she's investigating the death. And it's sort of like she wants to connect with her father, who's crazy and who has all these conspiracy theories. And it's just a very, very well done performance where you get a guy who's used to be something great and is now lost his way because he lost his mind, and there's no real going back. But he's also in danger because he possibly knows who the killer is. But can
So
you
is
really?
it a thriller?
It's sort of a mystery, more of a mystery, drama mystery than a thriller.
Okay. The way you're describing him, like he was like a genius who lost his mind, kind of thing. I'm getting of like a Fisher King kind of vibe.
Yeah, that kind, because in the Fisher King he snapped because his wife gets killed in front of him. In this case,
Trauma, yeah.
In this case, he was schizophrenic, and it just kind of grew and grew, and he just lost it, and now he lives as a homeless guy. But like he'll try to be normal, and there'll be like shots of it's all these like seraphims inside his head dancing around to ballet or whatever, and that's how you know he's starting to lose it again. So it was just a sickness that grew and grew and grew until he could no longer live in society.
Who else is in that one?
Colm Feore and
Caveman's Valentine.
Caveman's Valentine. There wouldn't be Anthony Michael Hall's in there. There wouldn't be a lot of people you'd recognize except for Samuel L. Jackson and probably Colm Feore, well-known Canadian actor.
Anthony Michael Hall.
And Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah.
There's a few films in in recent years that I catch Anthony Michael Hall, and like he plays the main character's dad in a movie called Bodied that I've talked about, which is about battle rap.
Okay.
It was produced by Eminem, and it was the first movie that was made for YouTube Originals. It was like made for YouTube Premium.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Or YouTube. Yeah. I'm not sure what year it was. I love the movie. It is rather offensive, but that it's also part of the story because he's this ginger kid. Like I just a ginger kid in college who's doing his thesis on battle rap and like the artistry and the poetry of battle rap and whatnot. So he goes and watches these underground battle raps, and he's he's interviewing this one guy, this like who's like a top champion in the area. And after the show, they're talking and whatnot, and the guy's like, the guy's like, "Are you just looking to get a pass to say the N word? Is like that what you're trying to do here?" Like, at the show after he talked to the guy, this other guy who wants to be a battle rapper in the parking lot tries to challenge Ben, the guy he's interviewing, and he's like, "I'm tired, man. I don't want to. This guy could do it." And so Adam, the main character, he he battle raps this guy, and just like all battle rap is just like rhyming insults and stuff, right? It's like
Yeah.
roasts. It's kind of like a roast, right? And he
Right.
rips this guy apart. Rips this guy apart and he goes, "How did like?" And the guy, the Ben guy, looks at him like, "How'd you do that?" He goes, "I just, it's kind of like a poetry slam, like, you know." And he ends up getting into battle rap and whatnot, and it gets pretty intense, but it's also like the roasts and whatnot. Like these raps are freaking brutal at times. It builds to a really neat climax, and the guy basically burns his whole world up. Anthony Michael Hall plays Adam's dad, who is also the professor at his college, one of his teachers, and
Okay.
he is an arrogant prick of a dad. Like, oh, you're doing the thesis of battle rap. Are you trying to compare it to like Japanese society? Because I already did that. Like, he's trying to compare a modern day battle rap to like the samurai society of ancient Japan and stuff. Apparently, he wrote something on that ages ago, and like he is just an arrogant prick of a father to this kid in the movie.
Sort of like his character in Reacher. But
Not as bad, but I would say halfway there.
okay.
Halfway there. In Reacher, he's kind of sympathetic. He was kind of forced into doing what he was doing, right?
That's true.
In this movie, Embodied, no, he's just an arrogant prick.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Samuel L. Jackson. We already know my number 2 is Pulp Fiction. So nothing more to say there. So what's your number 2? Or was that your number? No, that was your number 2. So
that was my number 2.
So we're at your number 1. Samuel
My
L.
number
Jackson.
Yeah, my number 1 by a pretty large margin from 2015 is The Hateful Eight.
Okay. You went to another Tarantino. All right.
I did, because this one, I've watched this movie so many times, and when you realize the movie's all about him, pretty much, he's the lead. Well, it's not all about him because it is an ensemble cast, but him as the lead in the movie, he just had so many great lines and monologues in that movie. He's such a great character that you're rooting for.
I've only watched it once. I haven't gone
Wow.
back to it at all, and I kind of kick myself a little bit that I haven't. Django, I've only watched I think twice, so like I just haven't gone back to Tarantino's more recent stuff, and I feel like
Wow.
I should. I think I'm depriving myself a little bit there.
I
I think
think you are.
because I did enjoy them. I liked them a lot, and I especially like Hateful Eight. When you hear the story about the guitar,
Yeah.
oops. Jennifer Jason Leigh, my God, that I've never seen her in a role like that. So what she gave us in Hateful Eight is just spellbinding, considering she's like a part of my early years crush kind of category with like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So
Yeah.
she's in that category, and then you see her in that. Holy crap! Did she really go psycho in that for it?
And I mostly love like Sam Jackson first and foremost in that one, but also Walton Goggins.
Well, Walton Goggins is just Walton Goggins. He's great in absolutely everything he does.
He
Period.
is.
Period.
Kurt Russell's epic mustache.
I feel like that's a mustache only he could pull off, like in everyday, like even now. Kurt Russell could pull that off, and nobody would bat an eye.
Yeah, because he did that one I'm not sure which movie was done first, but he pretty much had the same hairdo and the same mustache in both, and it was Hateful Eight and Bone Tomahawk. He looked almost exactly the same.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have not watched Bone Tomahawk, and it's been on my radar for a while. I think it came up on like a Watch Mojo list recently. I'm like, I really should watch that flick.
It is great.
It's a lot more violent than people than I realize.
Oh, it's very violent, but it's very good.
Yeah, I really should give Bone Tomahawk a shot because it's been pinging my radar a lot lately.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, my number one, 2014, and it's based on rewatches. Okay, this is probably the one I've rewatched the most. Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Oh yeah. I've never been a.
Because it's because he is not the badass motherfucker Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. He's not. He is like
Yeah.
almost actually, he is the farthest from it. He can't stand seeing violence. He can't stand hearing it during the church scene. He can't even watch the cameras once the violence starts happening. And then he tells her to turn the volume down because he can't listen to it. He's
Right.
he throws up. He shoots oh, what's his name? What's his name?
Colin
Oh,
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth. He shoots Colin Firth in the face and then immediately throws up afterwards because he can't stomach it. That is as far cry from badass motherfucker as you can get. Plus, he does the whole movie with that damn lisp.
I've never understood why they went that way, but
It's a character choice, and it fucking works for me. It is my favorite role for him because it is so different from everything else that I've seen him in.
well, that's
And
true.
I love him for it, and that's why when I said earlier about his Django role being his arguably his best villain role,
Yeah.
he's his super villain in Kingsman is up there in a different way, right? Because he is. I know Elon Musk. He calls him in this movie, but he's what Elon Musk wants to be in real life in this
Yeah.
movie. Like there's no denying that, you know. And that's why I love that movie for him. Like I like the Kingsman movies a lot. But him particularly, I liked his villain Valentine in the first one over Juliette Lewis's villain in the second one. And I still enjoy the second movie,
Oh,
but
Julianne Moore. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sorry, Julianne Moore. Yes, I saw something with Juliette Lewis, and her name was still in my head recently. So, but yeah, I like his villain better, but like I still like the second movie. I want more. I like the prequel, The King's Man. I enjoyed that.
That one I haven't seen yet. I mean, I thought the first Kingsman was fine. It was pretty good. I thought the second one took a step down, although I liked Elton John in it.
Great, one of the best cameos in movies.
And I've had the prequel for probably a few months that I haven't watched it yet, but I am looking forward to it just because doesn't have anybody from the other movies in it.
Oh no, being a prequel, it's too far ahead. But I liked it a lot. I've watched it a couple times. I heard I don't know if it's still happening, but it did well enough that they were going to do another one. But it's going to be still a prequel to the original film because this one is set like after World War One era, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because
And,
it's
and I
another
think
Reese. It's another Reese Ifans role because he plays Rasputin. I've heard
was that him?
that was him.
It's been a while since I watched it. I think I forgot that was him. It is good. As I understand it, they're going to do another one with Ray Fiennes and I think it's Gemma Arterton in that one.
I think so.
But with that crew, but set in like a World War II era. So
Oh,
bringing it a little farther forward.
right.
But I want another Kingsman. I want a third Kingsman movie. And
Oh,
in
with
my mind,
Eggsy.
with Eggsy, my mind, like I can kind of see where they could go with it. And they could bring back a character they killed off in the second one as the villain,
Oh, okay.
Roxy. What if
Oh,
Roxy
right.
survived the missile attack, but because they left her for dead, they didn't try to find her or anything. She comes out of it traumatized and goes evil. She knows all their secrets, all their tricks, and it
Yeah,
works against them.
I can see that.
That's if I were to write another Kingsman movie, that's kind of where I would go with it. Or they could do the brain like coming out of the trauma, she forgets who she is, kind of thing, and she's an evil agent, something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, I would like another Kingsman movie, but I don't know. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, especially considering Vaughn's last attempt in something in that realm, Argyle, kind of bombed huge.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember. He did. No, it's not coming up.
Argyle's the only one that I know he did for sure, and that's in that same vein, the high octane kind of actiony thing.
Yeah, because that one bombed hard. I'm just trying to remember if there was.
I haven't checked it out yet, but yes, it was a massive bomb.
I'm just trying to remember because he did what he was doing around that. Oh, Kingsman, the Blue Blood, Kingsman, the Traitor King, Courage Day ones.
What is all that?
Those are, I think, the two sequels that you were mentioning.
Oh, they're doing two.
Well, you said that
there was one they were talking about.
There's one called The Kingsman. The Kingsman, the Traitor King would be another prequel because that was called The Kingsman. And then Kingsman, the Blue Blood, would be the sequel with another Eggsy, I guess.
So that could be in the works finally. All right.
But I mean, that'll depend because sometimes one movie can sink your whole career. And he did The Kingsman, and then he did Argyle, and Argyle went downhill really fast. So he may not get to make another.
I haven't checked it out, but I know it bombed massively.
Yeah, I think I watched the first few minutes where John Cena shows up, but I haven't watched enough to comment on the quality.
No, the only more recent movie that's in that vein, the high octane actiony, that I've gone back a couple times now is Bullet Train.
Oh, Bullet Train was awesome.
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah,
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah. So that's it for Samuel L. Jackson. Honorable mentions. You got any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
I do. I had 3. I had Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I just put Marvel franchise because all his Nick Fury stuff,
Well, I didn't think that was fair because, I mean, I looked at all the ones where
it covers as an honorable mention.
I mean, because I mean the one that I think he has the most screen time in is probably either Avengers or Winter Soldier or Captain Marvel, maybe. Yeah, but I thought his best performance was Winter Soldier in there.
If you were to pick the best Nick Fury performance, definitely you're at Winter Soldier, sure.
I've got Jumper, the Hayden Christensen teleporting movie. He's like the bad guy, the head of the bad guys that are hunting them down and killing them.
I don't even know if I ever watched that whole movie. I know I watched it, but I don't know if I finished it, or I don't remember anything from it.
I love it. I saw that, I think, once or twice in the theater and watched it a lot at home. And my other honorable mention would be my favorite villainous role of his, and it's The Spirit.
Oh, I never did watch that movie for sure.
That was the one that looks just like Sin City, and it was the only movie that Frank, the hell is his name? Frank Miller actually directed that movie himself.
Yes, he got a taste of it with working on Sin City and thought he could do it all on his own. And no, I didn't give it a chance. I heard nothing good about it, so I never did watch it.
And I had a lot of fun with it, especially Sam Jackson's performance, because he's pretty funny in there. But yeah, I thought it was very well done, but I did hear a lot of bad stuff about it. But we had it at the theater. I got to see it for free, so I watched it.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. On my honorable mentions that haven't come up already, I know it's very Nick Fury-esque, but his Gibson in the Triple X series, he's basically, it's another Nick Fury, but
kind of, yeah.
I enjoy him in that. The movie that I rewatched today, just to put it in possible consideration, Black Snake Moan.
I've only seen that once. I thought it was, I can't remember how much I enjoyed it or not.
Well, I liked it a lot, but it was not enough that I don't think I'm going to go back to it on basis, so it wasn't going to crack the top 5. But Black Snake Moan is a good flick, and again, he's more underrated there. And just it is a great movie, and just how he helps to fix Christina Ricci, and in the end, Justin Timberlake, like fix their relationship. It's really nice. It has a nice ending.
One that I wish had made it to my list or even onto my honorable mentions was Basic, the military thriller.
I forgot about that one. I haven't watched it in so long, but yes, that was him and Travolta, right?
Yeah.
Travolta was the investigator or something.
But it's more, he's only in it actually present day at the very end of the movie, I think. The rest of it is all told stories. Some of them may or may not be true, but mostly in flashbacks.
As he's going through the investigation, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other one on mine that, this is more to be silly, from 1987, Eddie Murphy's Raw. So that's the second Eddie Murphy stand-up special.
Yeah.
The one where he's wearing the purple suit.
After Delirious, yeah.
And in the beginning of it, it's like a flashback to Eddie's childhood during a family get-together, like Thanksgiving or something. And it's got like a little girl, she's singing and dancing or whatever. And then he wants to perform for the family. So he gets up and he starts telling a joke. So you got a young Eddie Murphy telling a joke about, I think it's about a bear and a lion or something. And I think the lion climbs up in a tree and he says, I could tell it's raining, and he's pissing on him and he's pooping on him. And it ends with I can make the stars come out, and I kicked him in the ding ding. And the whole family, like, because it's kind of a dirty joke, kind of not nasty, whatever. And the family are just sitting there like, huh? Like, they're kind of shocked by this kid saying this joke, except for one uncle, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who starts laughing hysterically and said, this kid's got talent. That was Samuel L. Jackson. And if you look on his IMDb, it is not listed on his IMDb. But yet, if you go to the IMDb for Eddie Murphy's Raw, he is credited there.
Interesting. I know I saw Raw years ago, but I don't remember that intro.
I do. I remember I rewatched it like a long time ago, and that's the first time I realized that's Samuel L. Jackson. Like, I know I didn't catch it initially because we didn't know who he was at the time in '87, but I definitely caught it after the fact.
I bet you anything, had Rob been able to make it for this show, I bet you on his list would have been True Romance, because Sam Jackson shows up in the opening.
Yes, I'm sure True Romance would have been on there. I could honestly see. I think he holds Unbreakable in high regard too.
That was on my list for a bit. That and Glass.
I did have that as an honorable mention, but I just kind of skipped over that one because I don't go back to those movies. He is great in them, but I don't go back to them.
Yeah.
And if I were to go back, I'd probably go back more to Split than anything, because I like McAvoy more.
McAvoy is unbelievable in those. He definitely deserved multiple awards.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. Samuel L. Jackson movies in the books.
Oh, yes.
Next week it should be game night at the GME next Tuesday.
Cool.
So, always a fun night. So I guess that's it for another week at the Movie Madhouse. Jason.
Toodles. I'm James.
you got it out of order. Bye, folks.
Toodles.
Shut up! It's a man!